We going?
And we're live. What's up, everyone? And welcome to another episode of the Live Clean and Fight Dirty podcast with your host, John Hackelman, and your co host, me, Angelo Ferrer. Thank you for joining us. Today, we are covering, as you saw, should championship matches be left to the judges? What are we talking about? What exactly are we talking about here? I'm going to go ahead and turn over the floor to John, and John's going to give you all the details.
All right. Well, what I'm mainly talking about right now in this specific case was this week's UFC 297, where Du Plessis and Sean Strickland went 5 rounds for the middleweight title, and it was a pretty contested split decision, which either could have gone either way, and that's not the point. The point isn't bad judging because everybody agrees that it could have gone either way. More people think Sean should have won, but I think a lot of that has to do with because Sean was already the champion. And what people are saying is you have to take the title from the champion. You can't just get a split decision. So that got me thinking when I heard that. I heard that a lot in the comments and different interviews. Even Dana White said you shouldn't get a title given to you. You should take it. And I just don't know what that means. So what does that mean? I mean, should if it's a split decision and the champion loses, should he keep his title like he won? That would kind of be like a draw, I guess, but it's not a draw. So I could see if a draw happens, the champion keeps his belt. But if the challenger wins, even by split decision, he still won. So should he not be the champion then? And if he shouldn't, then what would it take for the champion to keep his belt? Does he have to? Does he have to? Does he have to? Not have a decision at all? And no matter what the decision is, should the champion keep his belt? Because when they say take it from him, does that mean knock the champion out? Do you think the challenger should have to knock out the champion or win by 3 or 4 points? Or what would make you guys happy? The people that are saying, including Dana White, and I'm not saying I disagree at all. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. I just want to know what people think when they say you shouldn't get the title given to you. You should have to get it. And what does taking it or getting it mean? On paper or in reality? Should the fight go to the knockout, or maybe just the last round? If it goes into the fifth round, should the fifth round be only finished by knockout? That way, there can't be any decisions. I don't know what people are talking about or what they mean when they say that, because I even had one guy say, "Yeah, if it's a split decision, it shouldn't go to the challenger." But the challenger won. He actually won. So you can't have the losing fighter keep or get his title. Like if the guy lost the fight, he definitely shouldn't get the title, even by split decision. And if the winner, or if the champion wins the fight by split decision or loses the fight by split decision, that shouldn't make any difference. Because if he wins, he still wins. And if he loses, he still loses. It makes absolutely no sense to me, but I don't disagree. I mean, I don't disagree with Dana. I don't disagree with all the guys that are saying that the title should be taken from the challenger should have to take the title from the champion. I agree with that 100%. But I don't know what that means. What does that mean? How does the challenger take the title without winning a decision or a knockout? And if you're saying a 1 point decision isn't enough, then what the fuck is? What is enough for the challenger to get the belt? What do you think?
Well,
We
look,
got
I
questions?
Yeah, I have my own personal question. I'll get to this. YouTube's going off right now. YouTube, a lot of people are already saying what they're saying on YouTube because of the way I post. More people are coming in, and I'm already asking, who do you think won, Strickland or Duplessis? Um, I just wanted to ask real quick. So, what exactly? Because I didn't keep. I saw the fight, the whole thing this time, not just the highlights. And but I didn't hear what Dana White said. Like there are all kinds of shit on the internet, and I don't know what
Well,
I
you
can.
can you can go back. You can go back 2 or 3 days or yesterday and see what my Instagram says because I actually have his video of what he says on there.
What was he like? I guess from your opinion, not from your opinion, was he insinuating that he felt Strickland won?
No, he didn't insinuate that. He said that he thought Strickland won. Okay, but that's not the point. That's not the
What?
point.
Okay.
He thought Strickland won, but even if Duplessis did win by split decision, he doesn't think the the championship should switch hands on a split decision. So he thought number one, yes, he thought Strickland won, but he also thought even if Duplessis did actually win, he should have to win more than he did to be the new champion.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's the one who has the power to change that if he doesn't like it. But I mean, that's that's I kind of am confused with that. But I'm gonna let that go. Um, I saw the fight. It's hard for me to say because I don't know how you were, um, how your training was. In my training, I was always told whenever I competed not to argue with the judges on the spot. Like when shit happens, and I think they both did a good job, right? Like when the decision was made, I didn't see any bickering from either side. Bickering later, but at the time, I didn't see a lot of like fighting or anyone or
You
disagreeing
know,
with. Right.
because the point has nothing to do with who won the fight. Neither one was arguing with the judge. Nobody argued with the judge or the referee.
Yeah, they
Sean
did.
thought he won, but the point is that even though Duplessis won, so Sean's not arguing that point, even though he thinks he won. He Dana doesn't think the fight should be, you know, the title should switch hands on a split decision. Nobody's disputing who won or lost.
Okay.
Whether
Okay.
nobody's making a big fight about it. Everybody says, "I thought this guy won, but it was really close," and the other side says, "I think this guy won, but it's really close." But nobody's arguing about it. What they're
Okay.
arguing about is should the title be changed if there's a split decision, and if not, how the fuck should it be changed? Only by knockout? So that's my question.
Then I mean, and at that point, isn't like I don't know if it's so much by knockout, but I know a lot of times at the smokers, if the judges can't make a clean decision, they just keep making you go round after round after round until one of them just falls over. Like I've seen that shit happen a
Because
lot with smokers. Is
yeah,
that what
that could
is
happen.
that what
That's
you're
good.
insinuating, or
That could Yeah, I don't know what they're saying, but I mean that's good for I mean that might hold up in a smoker. I mean a lot of things could hold up in a smoker, but in a world championship UFC match, I don't think it could be that kind of like, oh, let's just fight until someone drops. I think there has to be like something solid in place. Like maybe the last round goes 10 rounds instead of five, or 10 minutes instead of
oh,
5 minutes. Maybe you can go one extra round, like a championship round, or maybe it has to win by knockout. Maybe that last round doesn't end until somebody gets knocked out. I don't know how that would
and
end.
that's what I was gonna say. Like if you go that route, it really sounds like what they do with the smokers. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like if we went that route of we're not gonna stop till one someone knocks into the drought or one person is the definitive winner. Let's say it's not a knockout, but just one guy is no longer defending themselves, and it's almost like a TKO, and the referee has to step in. We're really heading towards that smoker route. That's what
Yeah,
happens with smokers because they can't because you got judges and they're not the best at what they do. A lot of them are coaches. Some of them are even fighters watching.
yeah, but a lot of times in the smoker they go one extra round, one extra round, one extra round. I'm saying let the fifth round end by KO only, like
Yeah, but
TKO or KO.
let's say we do that, then we have unlimited time, right? Which is, I guess it's seems
Like the old
more
days. Like the
organized,
old days.
like the old
Yeah.
days. It seems more organized, and I don't know. It definitely looks better than judges saying we don't know what to do, make them fight again. Like, right? It does look better than that because that looks bad. Whenever judges get together, we don't know, make them fight again. Oh, what should we should make them? That whole process makes everything look disorganized. So I guess if you just decide to throw that out and say, hey, they got to keep since we couldn't come up with a decision, but then it would have to change everything, right? That would mean like your first 4 rounds. How I don't know how they would do that. Like if I guess they would have to change the entire structure. Like 3 rounds, make a decision. Can't make a clear decision in the third round instead of making them because we know that last round's gonna last so long. It might be 5 minutes, it might be 10. Wouldn't it be fair to say like 3 rounds? No definitive judgment can be done in 3 rounds. So we're going to go into that overtime, unlimited time, which will probably end up lasting, like you said, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how tired they are, which would then still be the 5 round, 25-minute marker. What do you think?
I don't know. I think if there's if it's that close after three, yeah, I don't know, because then the last round could be 10 rounds, but then what if or 10 minutes? But what if it was close again? What if the 10-minute round was that close?
Well, we didn't
I
say
mean,
we said unlimited time, like the old days. Like
oh, so you're talking about telling, yeah, then to the
like the old
knockout,
days.
then
Hey, we can you
yeah,
got
the what?
rather than us looking stupid at the end of every round, not being able to make a decision, we're just gonna let you go at it till one of you wins or loses. The end.
Yeah, yeah, just yeah, and there's a lot of mind, a lot of what ifs, but I don't think it's a good. I don't think that's at all a good one. I think keeping it the way it is the best way because I don't think if someone wins by split decision, that's not the best way to win a title, but it's still he won. So I think it should stay the way it is. I don't think they should change it.
I don't think so either. I think it would be really hard on the fighters too, because now what you're pretty much saying is when you take on a championship fight, you are either going to lose by knockout, TKO, or submission for sure, like 100%. That's what you're signing up for, and a lot of it's going to be a knockout. I mean, I guess, yeah, it seems like a great way. Like the current way to do things, in my opinion, seems safer for the fighters to have a longer fighting career. I don't know.
Yeah, and keeping that you can't. I mean, that's what happened with boxing, bare knuckle boxing, and that's why new bare knuckle boxing has nothing to do with real bare knuckle boxing because bare knuckle boxing, it was just to tell somebody quit. And so most of them would just hit each other in the body until someone got tired, and then that person would quit for exhaustion. They didn't even want to hit in the face because they would break their hands right away. So back in the old days, that was bare knuckle boxing. They would just hit each other in the body and they would get exhausted and quit. I think it's a terrible idea. It's right along with some of the bare knuckle boxing, the new, just turning a great sport too much like a just like a kind of a brutal. I don't know, just taking away a lot of its uh, skill and finesse, and you just throwing it into just throwing it into rock'em sock'em robots. I just don't like the idea. I think and nobody's ever come up with a good. I've never heard anyone come up with a good you know
Alternative.
change, yeah, alternative. But and another one that I hear a lot, people say don't leave it up to the hands of the judges. And that, I mean, that sounds great to say, but to say that to a fighter that's going into the cage, who's trying his best to not only knock his guy out or outpoint his guy or submit his guy, but he's also having to work just as hard as defending from getting knocked out or submitted. So sometimes fighters are, matched the way where there's not going to be a knockout. They're not going to knock each other out. They just their styles complement each other to a way where they'll kind of yin and yang together, and it'll be a close fight. and that it could be the best close fight that those two guys can have, and it has nothing to do with shouldn't have left it up, shouldn't leave it up to the hands of the judges. But I mean, that's like telling a baseball player hit a home run every time. Oh, you got to don't yeah, home run every time, or hole in one with a golfer. You got to get a hole in one. Of course they want to. Every fighter wants to win by knockout, but their opponent does too. So there's the problem. They both want to knock each other out. So sometimes, you know, they don't. Neither one of them really wants it, but a lot of times a really good fight ends in decision, and that's just the way it goes. So not all fights can end in knockout. No matter how much a promoter tries to yell at the fighters to get them riled up, don't leave it to the judges. Go knock your opponent out. But both sides are hearing that. You know what I mean? So anyway,
And then
any questions?
So far no questions. And anyone watching, please feel free to ask questions. I see 6 of you here. Feel free to ask questions or share your opinions, and I'll put them up here. I'll mention them now. Zarin says hello. Hello, Zen. Brian says no, it shouldn't be left to the judges. Zen says it's all about the money. It's all they care about is the money.
Who's he? Who cares about the money? The fighters?
I think
the promoter.
I'm guessing the promoters. Jesse asks,
"What about the fighters? Do you think the fighters don't want the money? Who doesn't want the money? They all just want the money, guys. They both. But I'm going to tell you something else. The fighters love what they're doing, and so do the promoters. But they're all wanting money. So not just the promoters, believe me.
So Jesse's trying to rile you up and says, "How about a kata face off to determine the winner?"
Oh my god, it's not even worthy of a.
He's trying to get you going. He's trying to get you going. He's trying to.
That's not even worthy. That's not.
Don't fall for it, John.
Don't get me going. This is what katas.
So, but I mean, again, if we go back to those earlier UFC days, as much as a martial artist enjoyed watching that, and fighters enjoyed watching that, that format, other people would complain back then that the format seemed slow because of that, because they didn't split up the rounds and they let them go at it. And sometimes you would have two guys super tired, just exhausted, laying on each other, especially when it came to the grappling. And they didn't stand them up either back then. So like it was just like some of the matches were just two guys laying on each other for a long time, just nothing happening. So like from an entertainment perspective, I don't think they should change it. I think a lot of has happened to this point to make it what it is, and changing it would just be going back. It would be it would be going back to the way things were before, which we're not arguably working very well marketing standpoint. There are no other questions here. So I had some more questions here. So you said you agreed with the decision. You agreed with the decision. Like you didn't agree with the decision. Okay. So
I thought Sean won.
Let's talk about why. Why did you think Sean won?
I think just the preponderance of punches and control time on standing. They don't do control time standing. They do control time clinching and on the ground. But I think when it came to the punching and the kicking and the the striking, I think Sean had more control time. They don't count that, and he had much more strikes. I mean, significantly more strikes. More damage was done. So I think, I thought he was in control more. So I mean, he could count the takedowns. They were good takedowns. There's a few of them, but he also got up real good with avoiding while avoiding any damage. He avoided damage and he got up, and that counts for something too. And the damage to the face, that was it looked like something was a punch, but there was a headbutt, and that caused a huge increase in the blood and the damage. So counting damage is kind of it's like it can fool you, right? Because a headbutt could cause more damage than any 50, 100 punches. One headbutt causes more damage than that. Nobody should lose a fight over a headbutt.
And then so around like, and again, just when I was seeing it, the first two rounds were, in my opinion, and again, I don't, whatever that counts for. The first two rounds, Strickland was definitely controlling the fight, like with his jab. I really, but and here's the problem with me is I'm partial to strikers. Like I have a bias towards them, and if they're a good striker, I'm biased towards it. I like a good grappler too, but I'm kind of partial towards strikers, and I really do like his style. I like how he handled himself in the previous fight. I like how he handled himself in this fight too. Those first two rounds were pretty clear. What got foggy for me was that third round. That third round, I felt, I want to say Strickland took it, but they started exchanging a little more. Like it wasn't as clear as it was in those first two. What do you think happened in that third round?
Yeah, I don't remember if the third or fourth. There was one round where he definitely lost Strickland, and that was definitely, well, it looked like it was because of the blood going into that eye. He was getting hit on that eye over and over. But I think that was all because of the headbutt. And I just don't, you shouldn't lose the fight over a headbutt. But anyway, but he survived it, and then they they did a good job in the corner. So I thought he won the first, second, and fifth round.
So like that was around it was the fourth round that things started looking bad for him. Like he started getting taken
Yeah,
and stuff. But the third round, I think what if I remember this correctly, I just saw it yesterday. Um he got one takedown. I always fuck up his name. Deprius, is that right?
yeah,
Okay.
to Plessis.
Sorry, I didn't mean to call him a Prius. No offense to him. Like I'm not trying to do that. I just bad on names. Um, he did get that one takedown, but I still felt that in the third round, Strickland was still. Oh, they were pretty even though, because he kept getting a few head kicks here and there. He got a few head kicks here and there, but still, he had an overwhelming amount of punches throughout the entire fight. Like even in the round he lost, the fourth round, like he still had more punches, but he had those two takedowns where he had a little bit more control. And the fifth round things get, I don't know. I'm more on the I don't know. I really didn't. They both seemed tired. It still seemed like Strickland had a higher volume of punches, and I think he had like one takedown in the last one. He had one takedown, but he kept getting back up, like you said. He never really had control
Yeah,
during the take. He was just getting the takedowns, and I don't know how the judges view takedowns and how many. I don't know. There's not really like a point system, right? Well, kind of. There's kind of a point system, an unsaid point system. I don't know how much favor a takedown gets. I guess that's where I
yeah,
got.
because it's a 10-point must system. So nothing is scored in and of itself like a
Yeah,
karate tournament.
right.
Everything is scored. You take the 5 minute round, and then you say either that guy won or that guy won, and that guy won, then he gets 10. If the other guy won, he gets
Yeah,
10, and the guy that lost gets 9, unless it's a brutal, brutal, brutal round, which there weren't any of those. Then the winner gets 10, and the loser gets 8.
yeah.
But this one was every round was close enough to be a 10-9. So that's how I judged it. But I mean, I don't think Duplessis won, and even if he won, I don't think he did enough to win the title take the title from the champion. But since there's nothing in place for that, then just in case the case of winning, even just eking out a split decision, 1 point, could be 1/2 point, and the challenger will still take the title. So people that don't like that, I get that. So I want to hear what they say. What is a better way? That's my big thing. What's a better way to do it?
So if
What do you
anybody,
think?
so I already answered it earlier. Like I agree. I don't think it can be changed. So if anybody watching, if you don't agree with the decision, you think it should be done a different way, please, right now is your chance to say something. If not, like I'm pretty much saying the same things should stay the way things should stay the way they are. Like I don't think things
Yeah.
should be like I think things if we change them, it only change for the worse, not the better.
Yeah, I think they should change. I think they should stay the way they are. They're not perfect, but anytime you have three people with three different opinions watching the same thing but giving a different outlook on it, then there's always going to be people disagreeing. It's completely subjective. It's not like amateur or Olympic boxing where it's all on a point system. We could never do that in MMA, and so I think it's done the best that it can be done, and I think changing at this point would only fuck it up.
So not so much on whether we should change it or not. Zen says, "I'm glad DDP won. Thank you for abbreviating that. That saves me from fucking up his name again." I felt Sean is too cocky, is what he said. All right. So there is
I don't get cocky
based
from
on his based on
what?
his character preference. He feels DDP should have won because he didn't like. I don't like the other guy. That's why I'm glad he lost.
Yeah, yeah. I think I think the word for Sean is real more than cocky. I don't think he's cocky. Like I think he's very I think he's very humble. Actually, he's the opposite of cocky. I mean, he admits when he loses, gets his ass whooped. This guy can kick my ass. You don't hear cocky guys, even if they win a fight, they don't say, they don't, hey, that guy kicked my butt. He's much better than I am, or this guy kicks my butt in sparring, or this guy. There, I mean, the cockiness I don't see. I see him being very outspoken and very real, and I think that's what people might not like. The fact that he might be a little too real. I think that's a word that people don't like here in America very much. Real, being real. They don't like it.
So Jesse says, I agree Strickland won, but the rules are good enough. I just think a rematch is a must. A rematch for every MMA fight. Did I read that right? A rematch for every MMA fight. Okay. All right. So I'm guessing the context means anything that's like in that situation, they should just have a rematch to settle it later.
Yeah, I think rematches are in order a lot, and sometimes they're not. I don't think it's. I think there are times where there should be a mandatory rematch, but I don't think this fight is one of them.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. All right. Well, so now I'm going to open it up for a few seconds here. So if you have any questions unrelated to the topic for our wrap up, feel free to bring it up now. Anybody? I'm
What?
going to give you a few
No
more
one.
seconds.
A few more seconds, guys.
And then if John, also I'll also take this opportunity to say that if you are looking to train and you are wherever you are, if you're in a place where there's no gym in your area and you're trying to find a place to train and you really want to train MMA, you really want to learn a valuable martial art that you feel is effective, there are spots available on the Pit Dojo, not the online. I know we're online. We call it the Pit Dojo for YouTube, but there is actually a website you can go to called thepit.tv where you can sign up for classes, online classes with John Hackleman. And these aren't like, and I know I'm going to sound like it sounds like I'm doing like a promo here, but I've found other websites and they'll just show you videos of shit. And that's it. You'll get some videos and then you'll meet with coaches that aren't even on the videos that you watched. And you'll be given tips by people that aren't even on the videos that you actually saw. This website is not like that. You'll go in there, you're going to see updated lessons that are going to be tailored to your level. And every week you get to talk to John. And I personally ask him, how am I doing? Am I fucking this up? He'll help you out. So there it is. My shameless plug for the the online program.
I meet some interesting guys on there too. I really do. Some of my students, they're really interesting. But anyway,
So we
what
do
we
have
got?
one question. Is there from Jesse, is there any story with Ernie Traverse poster. Is there any story with Ernie Traverse poster? Does this ring any bells for you, John?
No, I don't know. I have no idea what he's talking about. Ernie Chavez,
Traverse? Am I
Ernie
saying?
Chavez. I don't know. What does it spell? How do you spell it?
The it's only getting worse for me because I spelled it wrong and I wrote it down. Ernie. What? Okay. All right. I'm okay. I don't can you give me some more details, buddy? It's spelled ERNIESH. Oh, the poster on your wall. The poster on
Oh,
your
Arnie Shavers. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
papers.
My story
Okay,
about
okay.
him.
Okay. So yeah, what's the story behind that? Your
Um, he's always okay. He's always been one of my favorite fighters because my fight career, not my training career, I've always just relied on, the knockout and the power punch, and that's always been my biggest thing. And then he was always known as the hardest hitter ever in boxing history. Muhammad Ali said it. A lot of his opponents have said that. So he was always my favorite growing up. And um, I was training Chuck for a fight, or Chuck just got done a fight, and I got interviewed about something I was doing. And I was saying that I want, my idols. I trained them to hit hard like some of my idols, and I brought up Ernie Shavers. So I said Ernie Shavers is one of my all-time favorites because of his punching power. We try to, simulate a lot of his stuff. So Ernie Shavers read it. Ernie Shavers read it, and he called me. He got it. I don't know how he got my number, but he called me. It's not hard to get. It's in the internet. But he called me, and he wanted to thank me for giving him the props, and I was telling him how much I looked up to him, and I asked him, give me one tip on what I can do for my fighters so they hit hard like you did. And he told me about how he used to hit a tire. Well, when it wasn't winter, during winter he could chop wood for firewood, but during the summer he would use a sledgehammer on a tire and simulate it, just going back and forth. And so right away I went out and went to a tire shop and got some big truck tires, which they give you for free because they got to pay to get them. They got to dispose of them. They got to pay. So they'll give them to you for free. In fact, they even delivered them to my house. So anyway, so now I have like 4 or 5 tires. So I started using them. All my fighters started having to do that. It was on Sports Illustrated. CrossFit Games picked that up and started doing it. People loved it, and just caught on like that. And I always said I got that from Ernie Shivers. And then okay, so now I'm in Vegas one day, and I saw this picture for sale, and I bought it.
all right. So that's the story behind the
And
poster.
it's autographed. It's autographed by Ernie Shavers.
And it got autographed. Okay, that's the other question. Is it autographed? Yes, it is. So there's two
Yeah,
things
and
about
we've
the one was you're the one who started the whole tire craze. If I understand this correctly.
now we're flipping tire. We flip them too, by the way.
And you can get free tires if you contact the truck shop because they gotta throw them away. Well, I don't know if they still do that, but I know I got my tires
Yeah,
from a tractor shop. I went to a tractor place and asked them if they had any tires, and I sent them my tires. Too many tires.
they deliver them.
I had to
Yeah,
eventually be like, I can't fit any more tires. Thank you. I appreciate the free tires, but yeah. So there are two things that you can get out of that story right there. All right. Well, thank you for coming out to another episode of the Live Clean and Fight Dirty podcast, released once a week, live every Wednesday from 4:30 p.m. Join us next week. We'll have a new topic. And again, feel free to ask any questions at the end of the show, and we'll answer them for you. All
yes,
right.
we will.
Thanks for coming out.
Yes, we